So this is just a very quick happy reaction video to the finalists for the National Book Award for Fiction, which has just been announced this afternoon. There are 5 books on the list out of 473 books that were entered. Isn't that incredible to go through so many books? But I am so happy to see My Friends by Hisham Matar on the list, because it's definitely one of my favorite novels that I read so far this year. And after it not making the Booker Prize shortlist, as I was expecting, it is so great to see it as a finalist for another book prize. It also did win the Orwell Prize for political fiction earlier this summer, and a number of the books on this shortlist are up for multiple awards this year, and I always think it's a really great sign when books have been nominated for multiple different awards. And I know some readers will say, oh, it's the judges just picking the same books, but it's, if you look at the judges for these many different prizes, they come from lots of different backgrounds, they have lots of different interests in literature, and after reading so many entries, if they come to the same consensus of about books and calling them the greatest of the year, I think that is really saying something. And I definitely agree about Matar's novel, which is such a powerful story about a man who comes to live in the United Kingdom and finds himself exiled from his homeland and from his family. And it's about finding a sense of purpose in life and a love of literature and art and a connection with other friends who are similarly displaced but come to very different conclusions about how to manage that. And just the way it evokes the cityscape of London, I think, is so incredible and beautiful, and the way it pays tribute to the great writer Jean Rhys. And if you have not read Jean Rhys before, or if you have only read her novel Wide Sargasso Sea, I'd really recommend checking out some of her other fiction like Voyage in the Dark and Good Morning Midnight and After Leaving Mr. Mackenzie. She's a very melancholy sort of writer, as you can tell from the cover of this novel, but a really beautiful and insightful one. And another writer that is looking at displacement and identity in a really interesting and complex way. So yeah, this is just an incredible novel, and I made a whole video talking about it, about a number of the books on this shortlist. So if you want to see my deep, or not maybe not so deep, but my more extended thoughts about these books, and I'll put links in the description below so you can check them out. But I know lots of other readers have read these books and love them as well. So yay! And so happy for My Friends. But there is also 4 other books on the shortlist. So here are 4 of the finalists. There is also Ghostroots by Pemi Aguda, a collection of short stories, Nigerian collection, which I need to get a copy of because I think it sounds so fascinating, the way it looks at religion and atheism, at superstition and deep psychology of the characters. And so they sound like slightly creepy and like sinister tales, but ones that are also like dealing really like complexly with gender and identity and sexuality and faith. So I'm really keen to get a copy of that collection. But yeah, also really wonderful to see James by Percival Everett on the list, which is such an incredible novel, which is on the Booker Prize shortlist as well, and I think deservedly so, because what an incredible novel. That's such a pleasure to read. It's such like a gripping adventure story and tale of friendship, but also really complex in how it looks at history and a man's search to regain his sense of self after running away from slavery and trying to reconnect with his family. And there's a special surprise at that twist towards the end of the book, which I didn't see coming, but I'm not going to give away, but it's a really great incentive to read this book, even if you've already read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This gives such an important different perspective on that tale. And there is also Martyr by Kaveh Akbar, which I found such meaningful story about an Iranian American queer poet who is looking for purpose in life or a purpose in his death. He's sort of wavering between life and death. He's grieving for his parents. He's struggling to overcome addiction and to find purpose in his life. He's in his late 20s and so entering into his like full adulthood and trying to figure out how to settle down and progress forward in life. And he approaches this story with great like wit and humor, as well as a lot of emotion, and it's just such a moving story, and I enjoyed reading it so much. Now, I've still not read Miranda July's novel All Fours, but I'm really looking forward to this because I'm such a fan of both her films and her fiction, and following the story of an artist who wants to go on a cross-country journey of leaving her home and family behind, but then gets on a detour and holes up in a hotel to go on this process of reinvention, to taking her to a place that she really didn't expect. So yeah, this is going to be, I think, like a real treat to read, although I'm sure it deals with a lot of dark subject matter as well. So I'm looking forward to reading this as well as the Nigerian collection of short stories. But let me know what you think of the finalists for the National Book Award for fiction, or if there are any books on the other lists in the other categories of poetry or translated literature. I'm loved suggestions for that as well, because I've not read any of those books or the nonfiction books. So let me know what you think about those. The winners will be announced on November 20th. So we will see which book wins then. But I hope you're doing well and happy reading, and yay, my friends! Bye-bye.